Hello and welcome to Sansad TV. We are honoured to have with us Justice Prakash Shrivastava, the current Chairperson of the National Green Tribunal or NGT, India's specialised environmental court. Justice Shrivastava brings a wealth of experience from an illustrious judicial career spanning over 3 decades. Before heading the NGT, he served as the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court and notably was also the Commissioner for Welfare of Victims of the Bopal Gas Tragedy, where his compassionate oversight brought meaningful relief to thousands affected by one of the worst industrial disasters in history. Today, we look forward to gaining insights from his unique perspective formed at the intersection of law, governance and environmental stewardship. Justice Shrivastava, welcome to Sansad TV. Thank you for having us here today.
You're welcome.
I would like to begin by asking you, you have had an illustrious career in the judiciary, including serving as the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court. How has your judicial experience shaped your perspective on environmental justice at the NGT?
Yes, my judicial exposure, experience as a judge has definitely shaped my working and approach to the decision in the NGT and administering the NGT as a chairperson. Now, I was appointed as a judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court in January 2008. For more than 15 years, I have served as a judge of the High Court and thereafter Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court. As a judge, in fact, there was not so much exposure to the environmental issues because I was mainly dealing with the matters relating to civil appeals, criminal appeal, tax, company and all. Yes, as a welfare commissioner for the victims of Bopal Gas Tragedy, there was an exposure to environmental issues. Then when I became the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, there since I was holding the roster of public interest petitions, so all kind of environmental issues such as encroachment on the water bodies, preservation of wetlands, protection of trees, forests, all those issues came up. So that experience I had, and in fact the approach which was developed, any judge in fact has that qualities, that approach is developed by everybody. That's the approach is to hear patiently, to examine the issue, to collect the relevant material, to analyze the issue, and then to reach to a proper conclusion, and there should be a clear order, clear direction so that it can be implemented. So that approach definitely helped me. As chairperson of the NGT, my effort is that the poorest of the poor living in the remotest corner of the country, they should be able to approach the tribunal if they are the victims of environmental damage or harm. So that's what we are trying for, and in this achieving this object, my exposure, my experience as a judge has definitely helping me.
Justice Shrivastava, we touched upon your role as Welfare Commissioner for victims of the Bhopal Gas Tragedy, which is arguably one of the worst industrial disasters in history. How did your experience in this particular role shape your perspective on environmental accountability?
You're absolutely right. This was one of the worst disasters. And what happened, there was a pesticide plant of Union Carbide in Bhopal, and there was a gas leak, MIC gas has leaked from there in the intervening night of 2nd and 3rd December 1984. And that has a devastating effect. In fact, one of the reports says that 36 wards of that area were affected. Roughly more than 5 lakh persons living there, they were affected. Out of these 5 lakhs, about 2 lakhs were the children below 15 years of age, and 3,000, roughly 3,000 were the pregnant ladies there. So there was the compensation was to be distributed to them, and this responsibility was with the judicial officers. And I was appointed as the commissioner for welfare commissioner for the victims of Bopal Gas Tragedy. That was the additional charge which was given to me. I was working as a judge, and on the weekends, once or twice in a month, I used to go to Bhopal, where I used to hold court and decide the cases concerning the compensation to the victims. There I very closely observed, experienced the kind of suffering those victims had. I was appointed in 2015, that was almost after 30 years of the incident. But I was getting the cases of pulmonary fibrosis, corneal opacity, there were cases of chronic bronchitis. In fact, those who were exposed to the gas, MIC gas at that time, the ladies, the pregnant ladies, there were instances of stillbirths. Fertility was affected, or the cases of abortions had gone up. I was in fact receiving the cases concerning the cancer, and they were all these category of cases, they were getting the compensation. So there I realized that environmental hazards, such kind of incidents, they not only have the short-term impact, but they have a serious long-term impact also. Therefore, these industries, these hazardous industries, they are required to be regulated. Stringent regulations are required. And not only the stringent regulations, but strict compliance is also required. And when such incidents take place, there should be proper accountability, the persons responsible should be traced out, the restorative measures are required to be taken, those who are victims, they should be properly compensated.
The NGT has played a pivotal role in adjudicating many of the environmental issues, as we have seen. How would you say that this tribunal has improved in its effectiveness since 2010?
Yes, in fact, the seeds of setting up the NGT, they were shown in the Stockholm Conference of 1972. The participating countries had reached to a consensus that the access to justice to the victims of environmental damage, that will be given. Right. So the India had then, our legislature has framed the NGT Act, National Green Tribunal Act 2010, and India was the first developing country to have such kind of a specialized tribunal to decide the environmental issues. It's a specialized tribunal because the expert member and judicial member, they sit together and decide the matters. And initially when 2010 the NGT came into existence, at that time there was a small setup in R.K.Puram where the cases were heard and decided. Only the principal's bench was there in Delhi. But gradually between 2011 to 14, the benches were set up in Pune, Chennai, Bhopal, Calcutta. And with the setting of the benches, in fact, the entire country, all the regions were covered. And now, in fact, what happens, we, apart from hearing the original applications and appeal, we received large number of letter petitions. Right. Those who are living in the farthest, remotest corner of the country, they write letter if they become victim of environmental damage, if there is a gross pollution somewhere. Then those letters are scrutinized, and if it is found that the allegation has substance, then they are registered as original application. Then apart from this, we take up the matter suo motu. So, suppose there is a news item or media report disclosing gross violation, environmental violation of environmental norms, then we registered it as OA. And then we examine the issue. We implead the parties, the tribunal itself issues notices to the parties, we call for the report and decide those. So, and in course of time, we have in fact switched over to the hybrid hearing also, so that the persons who are sending the letter petitions, the villagers, those who are living at the remote places, they can all join in hearing and they can point out.
You gave us a very concise overview of the functioning of NGT since its inception. And we know that the National Green Tribunal is not bound by the procedure laid down under the Civil Procedure Code of 1908, but rather guided by the principles of natural justice. So, we would like to know what are the challenges as well as opportunities that this opens up.
Under section 19 of the NGT Act, it's provided that the tribunal is not bound by the procedure prescribed in the CPC, but it's guided by the provisions of CPC. Similarly, the Evidence Act also strictly does not apply.
Right.
And it poses a very heavy challenge, heavy responsibility is fixed upon the tribunal, because the tribunal has to evolve its own procedure. And therefore, tribunal has to see that a fair hearing, fair opportunity of hearing is given to all the parties which may be affected by the order of the tribunal, they are noticed. The issues which are coming up before the tribunal, all the relevant evidence is collected in respect of those issues. And when the parties come before the tribunal, they should not have a grievance that they did not get the proper opportunity of filing their replies, pleadings, and then thereafter we have to decide the matter. And this, in fact, this has been provided because each case relating to violation of environmental norm has a different dimension. So there cannot be a fixed approach. So for the purpose of adopting the procedure, we adopt a case-based approach. And this kind of flexibility is, in fact, is very helpful. Because what happens in some cases, suppose we have to find out the correct position at the ground level. So we appoint joint committees comprising of officers of different departments, implementing agencies. They go there, they visit the spot, they collect the information, and they furnish the report. And then we give opportunity to the parties to object to it and then decide it. Many a times certain issues come up where we have to involve the specialized agencies. Sometimes we involve the IITs also, sometimes we involve the authorities which have the special knowledge in that particular field, and we call for the report from them. So this kind of flexibility which has been given to the tribunal is very helpful in reaching to the right conclusion.
Justice Shrivastava, you spoke earlier about specialized agencies also coming into aiding the decision-making process. So with the kind of rapid advancements in technology that we are seeing today, what kind of role do you see for artificial intelligence, satellite monitoring or data analytics in aiding the NGT's enforcement and decision-making mechanisms?
Yes, we take help of the advanced technology. We take help of the satellite images, the AI, the data analytics, and they are very helpful in gathering the information, in analyzing it, in reaching to the right conclusion. For example, there was a case, in fact we are examining it, relating to construction of a road. A wide road was to be constructed through the area where the trees were there, and the allegation was that large scale felling of trees has taken place. So we call for the satellite imagery of present and past to find out to what extent the trees have been cut. Then we also directed for drone survey to ascertain the correct position on the spot. Then we had this Parali burning case, there was an interesting incident. The matter was during the winters when the air pollution was very high in Delhi. So one of the contributory factor was Parali burning in Punjab. So the case was listed, the counsel for the state She was trying to say that the incidents have gone down. But we had the satellite image showing the instance of the Parali burning, which we had taken out at 10:30 itself. Okay. So we confronted, saying that no, it's not so. There are a large number of cases there. So this is how we use it. In fact, we are taking up the issue of demarcation of floodplain, and the criteria is highest flood label 1:100 years and the 1 meter contour. And for that purpose, we have directed the authorities to use satellite imagery. And AI is also very helpful in such matter, because with taking the aid of AI, we can get the reports generated finding out the trend as to how it is proceeding.
We come to a long-standing conundrum at this point of our conversation. Very often industries cite the need for economic growth as a reason for certain environmental compromises, if we may say so. So how do you suggest that NGT can balance the need for India's economic progress or industrial progress with the imperative of environmental protection?
Yes, the golden rule is that ecology and economy, they should go together. Right. And in fact, if the industries, they follow all the norms, then we can have the industrial growth, the growth of the economy, balancing with the protection of the environment. But what happens in the race to earn higher profits? Many a times shortcuts are adopted by the industries. They violate the norms, and this is where the imbalance comes in. And in fact, I'll say that India is one of those few countries which has given the statutory recognition to the principle of sustainable development, the precautionary principle, the polluter pay principles. These are all principles which are mentioned in section 20 of the NGT Act. And in fact, the sustainable development principle is that we should have the development which we should be able to sustain in the long run. And this is where the balancing comes in. We have the regulatory framework, legislation in place, the regulations are in place to ensure that the industries grow, the industrial development takes place, but at the same time, the environmental harm is limited. In tribunal, we see that these conditions, these norms which are laid down for the industries, they are scrupulously followed. So we examine these compliance, we examine these violations, and we find, when the tribunal finds that there is a non-compliance or some industry is violating the norms, then we direct a remedial action, we direct punitive action also. The ideal situation is that all the industries, they comply the norms, they can progress, they can grow, the economy can grow, and at the same time environment is protected. Therefore, we say that everybody should remember that the planet which we have inherited, we should make an attempt to pass it over to the next generation.
Absolutely.
As far as possible in the same condition.
Justice Shrivastava, in recent years, we've seen a significant rise in climate-related litigation. How would you say the NGT is adapting to these emerging global challenges like climate change, biodiversity loss, and even environmental displacement?
Now, climate change is a burning topic, a crucial issue now. Absolutely. Because with the global warming and with the change which we are witnessing, that is the flash floods which are coming, the glaciers are melting, the sea level is rising. So these are all in fact warning signals. So far as NGT is concerned, we are taking up these matters, though I must tell you honestly that very few litigants come forward raising these issues. Most of the matters which are pending before us, they are on the basis of the suo motu exercise of power, on the basis of the reports, newspaper report, media reports, opinion of the experts. We have registered cases. Now, what do we do in this? We involve the expert agency, and then we call for the report from them, we call for the suggestions from them, and then we examine, then ask the concerned agencies, the government authorities, to look into those suggestions and take action on that. In fact, the tribunal in so many matters has emphasized upon the recharging of groundwater, rainwater harvesting systems. In biodiversity protection, we have so many matters, in fact, and some of them are very interesting. We are considering the issue of decreasing number of Kharai camels. Now, these Kharai camels, they are found in the Kutch area of Gujarat, and they are unique. They can swim up to 3 kilometers in salty water to find out their food. But with this climate change, their number is going down. So we have registered a case, and we are now examining it, how to protect them. So NGT is making all possible efforts, registering all kind of cases which come to their knowledge, to remediate it, to find out a solution.
Justice Shrivastava, what are some of the pan-India environmental issues currently under consideration of NGT, and what would you say has been the change in approach of the tribunal since you started hemming the organization as chairperson?
We have the issue of rejuvenation of rivers, prevention of pollution of the rivers, then liquid and solid waste management throughout the country in all the ULBs. We have the issue of protection of the groundwater, rejuvenation of the groundwater. We have the issue of air pollution, not only the air pollution in Delhi, but air pollution, controlling the air pollution in various non-attaining cities. And after I joined, in fact, there is a change in approach. Now there is a separate bench, 3-member bench, which examines the pan-India issues. And we have in fact moved from macro to micro. That means, for example, in the considering the issue of preventing pollution or cleaning river Ganga. What we have done, that entire river Ganga has been divided state-wise. That means we take up one state from where the Ganga flows at one time. And then from the state level, we have gone to the district level. We call for the report from all the district of that state. Right. What have they done to prevent discharge of sewage in the river Ganga? Then we have not stopped here. We have called for the report in respect of each of the drain in that district which is going to river Ganga. Right. And what measures are being taken to divert the flow of sewage from that drain to some STP. And we didn't stop there. We had taken up drain wise, that each of the drain in that district which is outfalling in river Ganga, to block it, to prevent the discharge of sewage from that drain to river Ganga, and the timeline within which it will be done for each of the drain that we are doing it. Similarly, we are monitoring the issue of solid waste management. In all the ULBs, that is urban local bodies, all over the India, and we call for the 6 monthly reports from each of the state. Now, in that 6 monthly report, again we have gone further. We said no, not the state wise. You give us the report in respect of each ULB. We have the issue of groundwater recharge that I indicated to you. So now we are in fact trying to break down the problem and focus at the smallest level, so that we can fix the accountability and we can know what is the improvement at the ground level. That's what the change in approach is.
Justice Shrivastava, given your insights on the environmental challenges currently confronting all of us, what would be your message to citizens at large so that we can individually and collectively contribute towards combating these issues?
What I feel that first of all, everybody, each of us must be aware the long-term effect of the damage which we cause to the environment. The effect on the next generation, the effect on this generation itself in the long run. Then we must do all possible things, all possible steps should be taken to protect the environment so that the damage which is likely to be caused is minimized. As I said, that we must hand over the planet or the planet Earth to the next generation with minimum damage to it. Someone has very rightly said that nature has offered us buffet to satisfy our need, but this is not for satisfying the greed. So whatever minimum, whatever in rational manner we can use the resources and preserve, protect the nature, we should do that.
Before we conclude this conversation, would you like to tell us about the role that your family has played in supporting you along this journey?
Oh, my family played a very active role. They are very supportive. My wife Pradeepti, she takes care of everything. I am not required to worry about anything at home. At the initial days of my career, I had shifted to Delhi as a lawyer. I was practicing in Supreme Court, and those were the days of struggle. And at that time, we didn't have many resources, but my wife managed it very effectively, efficiently, without complaining. And with her support, I'll say that I got enough time to devote in my profession than as a judge. Similarly, my son Pratyush is also very caring. I have a daughter Priyal, very, very sensible, and now Pratyush is married. So my daughter-in-law Richa, she is also very understanding. So my whole family, in fact, supports me in doing the work, and I feel that unless you have the support of the family, it's not possible to do your work with full devotion and dedication.
Throughout his distinguished career, Justice Prakash Shrivastava has worn many hats, that of a jurist, a legal scholar, an environmental advocate, and a humanitarian. Thank you, Justice Shrivastava, for sharing your valuable time and insights with our Sansad TV viewers today. Your commitment to environmental jurisprudence continues to make a profound difference to our nation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.